Nelson was blessed by God with 4 beautiful daughters. But life turned out to be such that her husband abandoned the family and she became a single mother. One rainy day things got even worse. Tawny's only means of transportation with her children was a nearly dead truck. Its tires were flat and needed constant pumping, the window on the driver's side of the seat couldn't be opened because of a broken handle, and a new timing belt was needed. Because of this, it was just parked most of the time and only used when absolutely necessary. We just had to do our shopping at the supermarket 9 blocks from the house. Along with the girls, we got in our truck and went to get the essentials. But when we got out of the store, it turned out to be dark, and a terrible downpour had started. After putting the children in the car and loading the grocery bags, Tawny got behind the wheel. I tried desperately to start it, but the engine didn't make a sound. Silence. It looked like one of the daughters had forgotten to turn off the lights in the car, and the battery was completely dead, the woman recalled. Her phone was dead, and she had no one to call that could help. Her family was stuck helplessly in the pouring rain. The woman made futile attempts to do anything. Once out in the rain, she opened the hood to inquire about the condition of the battery. Many times she had to call out to people passing by for help with charging, but they wouldn't even dignify her with a response. In 2 hours I asked almost 24 people for help to recharge, but they all ignored me, Tiny wrote on her page. It was even worse, they just pretended I didn't exist. After long, desperate attempts to find help, the whole family was exhausted, and the mother's nerves were on edge. My 5-year-old daughter was torn in desperate attempts to calm her screaming newborn sister, and her 2 crying, hungry sisters. Out of hopelessness, exhaustion, and devastation, I just sobbed and blamed myself for being the worst mother on earth. The woman was on the verge of emotional exhaustion when the unbelievable happened. An elderly man with a limp and a cane knocked on the passenger window. The stranger held out a plate of chicken nuggets, cookies, and several bottles of water he had bought at a nearby convenience store. Handing the food to the woman, he said encouragingly, "Feed the kids and eat yourself. I called my wife, and she'll be on our tow truck soon." Very soon an elderly woman arrived in a truck and took the whole family home. But the story of the man's help did not end there. The next morning he showed up on the family's doorstep with a car mechanic, who replaced the battery and alternator, and repaired the driver's side window lift. Our unexpected benefactor left as unexpectedly as he came. Asking the mechanic how much I owed him for the repair, he only smiled and said the elderly gentleman had already paid for everything. And then the auto mechanic relayed to her the words of her unexpected savior. "The only payment I require for my help is a requirement that you must always follow. Never give up under any circumstances and always remain a good mother." Tiny cried at these words and the magnitude of the man's wisdom and kindness of heart. That day I cried out of despair and I thought I was truly in a hopeless situation. However, without knowing this or a problem, he helped us so much that he didn't even realize it.